Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's live trading action video. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. Today's date is Monday, February 6th, 2017. Well, just taking a look at the intraday S&P 500 today. First off, the first thing you need to know is we're about 15 minutes from the close, and look at the volume today, 43.6 million. Now, this is what we call a hangover effect from the Super Bowl. Think about this. The game was a great game. It went a little bit later. It went into overtime, so it was on later at night. In addition, people were drinking beers, eating tons of wings. It creates this kind of excessive nature where it takes you one day to recover. So a lot of people probably got to bed later than they had hoped to last night. They ate a little bit more, they drank a little bit more than usual, and that just leaves it for a very, very light volume day. And that's exactly what we're seeing here on the S&P 500, folks. Markets are extremely light. Now, what you can see is we opened a little bit to the downside. We chopped almost to gap fill. We chopped around, then we came and faded down into lunchtime, and now we're just kind of fading back up or slowly grinding back up. We're above the 20 moving average, below the 50, so that doesn't give us a good inkling about direction in the short term. So today, again, would be described as kind of just a pause day on the charts. Now, considering where the markets have come from lately, you would have to still be neutral to bullish on the markets because, again, listen, we're hovering at all-time highs. We're not pulling back drastically yet. There's no topping signals yet. So you have to kind of say to yourself, okay, in the short term, give the market the benefit of the doubt until something changes. And that's what we're basically looking at in this kind of mold of things thus far. Okay, there's a couple of little tidbits that I wanted to go over. Take a look at Goldman today. Goldman, I think, is a good representation of a lot of the financial stocks. The financial stocks were strong early in the day. You can see Goldman Sachs today started here, rallied up, went to new highs short term, and then just the rest of the day you've seen continued selling. Now, again, there's not a lot of volume behind it, so it's not too alarming at this stage, but it is something we're going to want to watch. There's no doubt about it, folks. You have to be aware that these financials couldn't hold the gains from earlier today. They faded. They're at the lows of the day. JP Morgan's no different. If you take a look at JP Morgan, early in the day, it opened a little bit lower, ran to the green side, went to highs, and then has faded the rest of the day. So again, financials, definitely keep them on your radar for tomorrow. We will reevaluate what they're showing us in tomorrow's session. Okay, a couple other things out there. Apple continues to be strong. Apple had good earnings. The stock continues to rally after a small consolidation pullback last Thursday and Friday. You can see today's action was up, and away. And even with a lot of other things fading, including the markets, we are seeing Apple very close to the highs of the day, up $1.25. Now, I think Apple, you have to say to yourself, Apple's headed for highs here. If we zoom out on the chart, you have to think you're going to these highs here, which is around the 135 level. Now, stocks that didn't fare so well on earnings, you had Amazon. Amazon is down today on earnings, as well as taking a look at Facebook. Facebook's bucking the trend a little bit after that ugly reversal. But the one thing that bothers me on Facebook is this. This reversal day on earnings was very ugly. So the stock, whenever a stock trades sharply higher and then reverses on heavy volume, and closes near the lows of the day, that is a little bit of a concern to me as an investor, and I hope it's a concern to every long investor at this point in time. Now, listen, it's not a death note to the stock or anything, but it is something that you want to be aware of. If the stock continues to kind of hover sideways here, it is setting up for another move down. Now, it's not doing that at this point, so we have to wait and see. Let's give it a little bit more time, and then we'll kind of look and see exactly what goes on here. Okay, so that's what we have going on here on Facebook. And again, we looked at the financials. We looked at some of the big cap tech. Some of the oil plays today are a little bit lower. You can see Chevron is under a little bit of pressure today, and that again had a beautiful bounce off major technical support. But again, look at the chart. It's not a good chart. The stock was doing great over here, then rolled over, and then on earnings collapsed. And notice how it got below the two moving averages, and now in a bounce, see how the moving averages work as resistance? That's very important to see there. That's very, very important to see that that's a resistance trend line area. And this is going to create an issue for the stock and actually put pressure on it to the downside. So again, if we look at oil, let's just see what oil is doing today. The USO is the ETF that tracks oil. It is falling and rolling over today, so no doubt about it. It is looking a little bit on the weaker side, and we'll have to just keep our eyes on it to see how it trades. But that explains why we are seeing some of the oil stocks under pressure today. Okay? Let me just go back to the SPY here. And again, here's the S&P 500 ETF SPY. And again, if we go back to the intraday chart, you can see you had a little pullback. Now you're bouncing off the 20 moving average. Doesn't look like we're going to do much into the close here. And again, it looks like it'll be just a fractional lower day across the board. Nothing major, just slightly lower. And again, we'll kind of wait and see how things formulate overnight and into tomorrow's session. Bottom line is, come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com, folks. We closed out Twilio today, TWLO, for an 18.5% gain. That's right, folks, 18.5% gain. This was one of those great trade setups. We bought it down here at the start of January. I loved it as a January effect play, and we sold it today, again, 18.5% gain. That's in the research center. So again, you want to get these exact trade alerts. You want to get the buys timestamped when I buy it, the exact entry price I have, the exact targets and stops. Join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial to the research center. Take care, guys.